Hey, RetconRaider here, and welcome to Sovereign Tower by Wild Wits and Curve Games. A very high-effort visual novel I've been playing a bit off and on lately in my spare time, so I figured, what the heck, why not share? And I will say at its core, just to try to define it in a single sentence, it's essentially a blend of esoteric ebb, Yes Your Grace, Groundhog's Day with a dash of Dispatch thrown in for good measure. But, ultimately, it is a largely text-driven game, albeit one with a wide variety of visual resources. So again, very high effort as far as the ends go. But at its core, story time with Retcon. For those who like that sort of thing. That said, let's roll right in. Next. Hello, Your Grace. We're in a bit of a pickle. Oh, what seems to be the problem? Our crops were, vandalized? Our wheat stalks are bowed, forced into strange circular patterns. We're a bit lost. Could you lend us a hand? Ah, sounds like a classic children's prank. Unfortunate, but not unheard of. Here, 60 coins from the Kingdom Treasury. Should be enough to help cover the damage. You sure about this? Hope you're right. But thanks, it'll help. Next. Hey, Your Grace. How are you? Her question ends in a small squeak of panic. Because we, at the Magical Academy, we might have, how do you put it? It's fine, just go ahead and speak. I'm sure we can help. Thank you, Your Grace. I was sure you'd kill us. The truth is, we accidentally released one of our poltergeists into the wild. But honestly, he's mostly harmless. Well, except for the crops. He's got a thing against grain. Don't ask me why. Oh. Okay, well. You know what? I'll get someone on that. Thanks, Your Grace. Yeah, don't mention it. That's my job. Taking care of problems as they crop up. Your Grace, we're facing a terrible shortage. Our bakers are running out of wheat. Yeah, so I've heard. No worries. We'll turn to the personal wheat reserves to cover the shortage. That's basically what it's there for anyway. That should cover the shortfall. Well, I guess that'll have to do. My sweet highness, please forgive me for my slight delay. You won't believe... Your Grace! We absolutely do not have time for such trivialities. We need to talk. Now! The situation is serious, Your Grace. Oh? What is it that troubles my favorite knight so? But I am your only knight, Your Grace. All the others went off to fight. Those weren't just rumors, Your Grace. The Kingslayer is back, and it is not alone. It is heading towards us this very moment, dragging an army of the dead in its wake. His words trail off, as though the Kingslayer's icy hand were already closing around his throat. What should we do, Your Grace? There's no need to panic, my loyal knight. Stay calm and evacuate the rest of the tower. But, Your Grace, what about you? You have your orders. Tend to the others. I'll take care of this myself. Very well, Your Grace. Be careful, I beg you. Ermin the Wise. You pierce the veil of arcana that no hand was meant to find, only to offer the void a heart already withered and unkind. I know why you're here, Kingslayer, but I shall not give in. I can't, or the Empire will triumph. This holy seed grants your shadow no spark of grace. Return to the frigid soil with the rest of your renegade race. Farewell. May the next soul finally prove worthy. Bleh. "100 years have passed since the fall of Ermin the Wise at the hands of the impious Kingslayer. Since then, the White Tower of Briz has become nothing more than a lifeless relic. Having lost its fortress, the Kingdom of Britannia once again finds itself under threat from the Angalor Empire. Just as it did in ages past. For centuries earlier, the Empire was already preparing to devour these lands. After fierce battles, fate seemed sealed, and defeat inevitable. Until, out of mercy, the gods bestowed the Tower. This tower granted unparalleled strength to its knights and an inexhaustible wellspring of magic to its sorcerers. But of all these gifts, the most fearsome was that bestowed upon its sovereign. It was the power to foresee the future. 100 years have passed since the people of Britannia have awaited the coming of a new sovereign, the chosen one who would awaken the ancient Tower of Briz once more. And it seems their prayers are finally about to be answered. For far from the royal court, in a humble country church, a wandering leper awoke to the sound of flames and chaos. That's me. Screams and crackles of flame surround you, spreading the sound of death. Sure, off to a good start. Through the shattered stained glass, you see armored figures moving frantically and bearing an emblem that you do not recognize. A cry of terror rises from outside. Run! The Knights of the Empire are here! It must be one of them, you hear one of the armored figures shout, their voice trembling. Dense, black smoke floods every corner of your dwelling. Cat. You rush toward the entrance, but a flaming wall collapses with a roar and seals off the main exit. The ceiling groans, releasing a rain of ash. The entire structure threatens to cave in at any moment. Amidst this blazing chaos, as you are desperately searching for another way out, your eyes meet those of a panicked cat. I mean, as a cat owner myself, I'll say that trying to carry one in even non-emergency situations is tenuous at best. I'll just, I'll follow its lead. You miraculously escape unharmed, and the cat seems to be fine. Damn well better be. Just as you start to feel better in the fresh air outside, the dull thud of iron-shod boots echoes around the corner. A cry, raw with pure rage, tears through the roar of the inferno. Is anyone there? Meow? It worked? I mean, sort of. It also looks like he got distracted by a random kid. The night has turned back, and you breathe a sigh of relief as you hear the sound of his boots gradually fading away. But as you approach to trail him from a distance, you watch in horror as he reaches for a child trying to flee. Yeah, I should probably do something about that. Let's perhaps take a slightly more active approach. Hey, leave him alone. The knight turns towards you and charges, consumed by rage. He hunts you down for some distance, driving you to flee until you reach the very outskirts of the village. I mean, neither of these sounds like a great plan, but what the heck, we're already pretty raggedy. Yeah, that seems about right. This hiding place proves precarious. The knight finds you with ease and blocks your escape. Locking eyes with you, he raises his arm, ready to strike. That's it then, it's over. I guess that's a wrap. Aha! Your maneuver paid off, and your attacker collapses heavily. Now defenseless, the Empire's warrior lies helplessly at your feet. This is your moment to act. You know what? We're just into this. Let's maybe not immediately kill someone, even if it is sort of in self-defense. I mean, less so, considering that they are implying here that he's actively unconscious. You run away into the darkness. Forgotten and abandoned from everything, the wretched leper was looking for salvation across the old kingdom. In despair and exhausted, a soft voice echoed in their heart, beckoning to a distant place. At the end of their journey, the poor soul finally reached the ruins of the tower, the last remnant of the once glorious kingdom of Britannia. Something akin to fate seemed to guide their path to this forgotten place. At the foot of the tower, a few nobles seemed to be arguing. Once again, the royal selection had proved to be a disappointment. The door to the tower remained closed, and the prophecy unfulfilled. Slipping through the crowd, the stranger reached for the legendary key adorning the giant lock. In their mind, the words of the prophecy echoed. Only the true sovereign, chosen by the gods, shall be allowed to wield the silver key to the doors of the tower. And, for them, the door opened. From that moment on, people called them the Sovereign of the Tower. You know, I've got to say, I'm not crazy about that look. I mean, I know I'm a leper and all, but you know what? It's fine. It's fine. A lot of neck, though. More seriously, very clearly intended to be a gender-neutral, nondescript avatar for the player to project themselves into. So, it was true. The words of the prophecy were true. I am Sir Arlen, guardian of this tower's remains, and I have waited all my life for the blessed day when someone would finally pass through these doors. Your Grace. And what a surprising choice from the gods. Well, a choice marked by fate, with all due respect. Yeah, you got something you want to say there, Arlen? Not ready to take that leap of faith? But I see you have already donned the traditional garb that befits the crown. As custom dictates, the anonymity of this attire shall be your protection and your salvation. Keep your identity shrouded and reveal nothing of it. All may form their own idea of what lies beneath the mask, though some, by convention, will simply refer to you as a man. You may not yet feel it in this state, but this edifice is miraculous. Within these walls, its magic suspends all affliction from its sovereign, and your illness shall no longer progress. The tower also multiplies tenfold the strength of the knights who serve its round table. Its power depends on the size of the kingdom it governs, and granted, for now, our territory is limited to the county of Briz. But here begins the rebirth of Britannia. For only through the sovereign and the might of this edifice shall we rally our neighbors under a single banner. The further our influence spreads, the more the tower shall awaken, and the more complete it becomes. More knights may take their place at your table to share in its strength. Now pray tell me, Your Grace, how is it that you came to this place? You know, that's a good question. I'm not entirely sure. All I know for certain is I woke up, my village was on fire, and I had to flee the Empire. That just kind of led me here. By all the gods. So the Empire is currently attempting to invade Britannia? After all these years of relative peace? It is more urgent than ever that we forge allies against this threat. For if they learn that the ancient White Tower of Briz has reawakened... He pauses thoughtfully. The prophecy, the very one that described your arrival here, also mentioned a golden key. An artifact said to be capable of uniting the kingdoms, unlocking the tower's full potential. And who knows, perhaps curing you permanently? It's merely a legend, but after your arrival, I'm open to the wildest mysticism. At last, welcome home, Your Grace. Take your rightful place upon this throne. Many labors lie ahead, to be sure, but the tower has awoken under your reign. Rest assured that it will soon regain its former splendor and magic. Eat. Cycle 1. Good morning, Your Grace. It looks like the tower has finally awakened for good. No more candidates in a trance screaming dubious incantations at its doors. or relentlessly drumming on its walls. To tell you the truth, I still can't quite believe it, but here we are. The man before you looks like he'd stand frozen forever just to prove he's that loyal to you. Oh, really? You know, I've got to say I'm impressed. He's standing so still, I would have just assumed that was a static image, but no, that is an overt display of loyalty. Got it. If you permit me, Your Grace, I would be delighted to inform you of what to expect in the coming days. By all means, please. This is my first time doing this, as far as you're aware. Your new subjects are quite eager to have someone in charge again, and will come to you for help and guidance on various matters. Some of these requests may require you to take action, and the knights you've recruited at the Round Table will help you do that. Be forewarned, though they may serve you, they may not feel inclined to carry out your every order. It would do you well to learn their preferences to avoid future headaches. Well then, that is all for now. Let me introduce you to your very first knight. She is on her way and quite capable. She also happens to be my dear niece. But I take no responsibility for her punctuality whatsoever. I am terribly sorry. I got lost on the way here. I am Lady Angelica of Clovermont, Your Grace. Angelica, it's a pleasure to meet you. How fares my favorite knight? But I am your only knight, Your Grace. Yes, exactly. And thus, by default, my favorite. Also my least favorite, so don't get a big head about it. Right. Whilst we have just met, I must trouble you with a request. Just a small one, really. But I couldn't sleep a wink last night. The tower is quite cold and scary, you see? Do you think I could bring a cat to lighten the mood a bit? Yes. Yes. My dear niece, you told me that your request was of the utmost importance. Shut up, Arlen, we're doing this. But it is, just a tiny cat. I mean, until the dusting and the arrangement are complete. Yes. Absolutely. All the cats, 1,000,000 cats, a tower full of cats. Of course. By all means, please. And I'll also have someone look into seeing your room is properly furnished. I like you, Angelica. You really are my favorite. Oh, thank you very much, Your Grace. I will name the cat after you. I mean, you don't have to do that. That's kind of weird, but sure. I should not keep your audience waiting and take my leave then. Karina. Ah, Your Grace. Was really looking forward to meeting you. Karina, blacksmith. You see, I might need your help finding my smithing hammer, which might have dropped out of my carriage in the totally not creepy forest between Milkford and Clovermont. Dropped or lost? Ah, no, not lost, just temporarily mislaid for 2 years. Oh, okay, so not that long then. I do wonder, though, if you haven't lifted your hammer in 2 years, how do you stay in such great shape? I'd love to know your secret. Hellish calisthenic exercises, Your Grace. You have no idea how wonderful it is to channel overflowing physical energy such as mine. I could teach you a movement or two when you have some time. Either way, I heard that you're hiring a bunch of knights for your round table. My hammer can restore relics to their rightful state. That might interest you, right? All you need to do is help me find my hammer. Okay, consider it done. Hammer lost yet again. The blacksmith temporarily mislaid her heavy hammer in the dense forest between Milkford and Clovermont. The magical properties of the hammer left some tracks. Find it and get it back. Requires strength, agility, and lots of luck. Well gosh, you know what? I bet that's perfectly suited for my first and favorite knight. We'll get her right on it. Ah, thank you, Your Grace. All right, let's have a look around this tower. At last, I awake from my slumber. Oh, and what a sight greets my eyes. And mine as well. It's rare to gaze upon such a statuesque beauty. That bust, those chiseled features. Oh, you flatter me, dear sovereign. I am the Lady of the Tower and its protector. How delightful to meet you. Long have I watched over these halls, but alas, how decrepit everything has become. It is not safe to wander too deep yet, my brave sovereign. Not the welcome you deserve. However, as I retrieve my powers, I will endeavor to restore your tower's rooms to their former glory. Your presence reawakens something in me. Romance the tower? Yeah, sure, why not? Honestly, probably a bit less of an awkward power dynamic there than it is to romance one of my knights. And yours and me, my busty beauty. I look forward to working very closely. Whenever you wish, dear sovereign. Now that you've stirred me from my slumber, believe me, there are many doors that can be opened. I shall always be waiting for you here when you finish your day's duties, dear sovereign. Fantastic. And I mean, mechanically, she's basically where we go to unlock new facilities as we recruit new various NPCs. Knights, of course, are integral to actually completing quests and populating our round table, but there's a separate assortment of support characters we can also recruit, who in turn will unlock various other services. Though, nothing available right now, so we move on to the map room. Welcome, Your Grace. From here, you may issue actions that affect the world beyond these walls. Invite noble individuals to your court, or send aid to villages struck by disaster, for example. I'm not quite sure if there's anything available right now, but, well, it never hurts to check. And if nothing else, you may always admire the map. A fine piece of cartography, if I may say so myself. Indeed. Pretty much exactly what he said there. The primary use for the map is generally just going to be inviting various characters that you might want to recruit to your tower. That's knights you previously passed on or have heard about but have not otherwise encountered, or NPCs who may provide various services. Though there is also a separate mechanic which is used to repair damaged territories, as he insinuated. I've never actually encountered that one, though. That might be primarily restricted to Act 3, which I think is when the Imperial invasion really comes into play. Kitty, Kitty, please come down. The head cook won't be pleased to find you up there. The girl is trying to coax down a kitten curiously wandering amongst the kitchen spice shelves. Oh, Your Grace, have you come for a drink, or perhaps a snack? Yeah, that's what I was here for, but hey, who's this cute fella? New attribute discovered. Animal lover. Nice. Look at those little black paws. Oh, he's adorable. Thank you so much for letting me bring a cat here. I named him after you, you know? No, Sovereign, get away from this flower bag at once! Oh no. You know what, I'm gonna pass on that. She is cute, but again, probably inappropriate, and I've already got my sights set on a separate stone cold stunner. You know my name's not actually Sovereign, right? It's not? Are you sure? I am not. Angelica, you're my favorite, but maybe don't provoke an existential crisis in your Sovereign, please. And, good luck cleaning all this up. Oh, of course, Your Grace. The floor will be clean as a whistle. Indeed. But yes, that particular event, obviously intended to give us slightly more context and knowledge of our first night. As you become more or less liked by your various knights, events like that will play out, allowing you a better glimpse at exactly who they are and what they might be good or bad at, whilst also influencing your own character's growth, both via the kingdom stats, the trackers here, your character's personal archetype, as well as the overall satisfaction of the realm. And then here, of course, we have our Knight Tracker, which gives us further details of what we know about the various knights of our round table. Currently restricted to 6, but that limit is boosted by 2, with each subsequent act up to a maximum of 10. Overall, pretty straightforward. Similar to the hero management system in Dispatch, individual knights have 6 attributes, which in turn are compared to the requirements for various quests. And as they gain experience, you can further improve those various stats. You can also modify them by giving them special equipment, such as the relics that Karina will eventually offer. And then, of course, you also have the individual character traits, which will also have a fairly hefty impact on how well they perform at various tasks, some of which you start off knowing, but many of which you will also have to discover in various other ways, either through events such as the one that we just played through, or via specific directed research, which we can't do yet, but we'll soon have access to. Essentially, once we get our Spy Master, we can have them research the various new recruits. Though it is important to note, they cannot uncover everything. Certain traits can only be uncovered via special events, some of which have very specific triggers. As for Angelica herself, let's have a look. Arlen's niece, Lady Angelica of Clovermont, is a young, naive, gentle, and optimistic knight. As a child, she was filled with lofty ideals and dreamt of becoming a knight. Naive, animal lover, kind-hearted, which modifies score based on its impact on people satisfaction, noted. Also one unknown trait. And under preferences we can, as aforementioned, see that she prefers diplomacy and scouting, and does not like 2 others, which we can discover either by sending her on those specific types of missions, in which case her disapproval will become obvious, or by researching them, or by interacting with her in various events. Stat-wise, pretty straightforward. High agility, high luck, moderate strength and charisma, low wits, non-existent magic. Though long-term, as aforementioned, we can adjust that with experience or equipment. And that's pretty much it. Like I said, simple on the surface, gets a bit more nuanced as you start tagging in the various other modifiers and such. Though then further compounded by whatever other knights you end up ultimately recruiting. There's over 20 in the game, with an ultimate hard cap of 10 at your table at any given time. That said, we've got one knight, we've got one quest. Doesn't get much more straightforward than that. So let's go ahead and send her out. Again, mostly intuitive. There are some specific things you have to keep in mind, aside, of course, from just the victory conditions. Damage range, for example, since knights can and will die if you're not careful. In which case you either need to use your powers to roll back time and suffer the consequences thereof, or simply swallow it and recruit a new one. Also worth noting that later down the line there are quests that will require multiple cycles to complete, or multiple nights. But not something we have to worry about just yet. This is our basic tutorial quest. Angelica dispatched. Tithes collected. Angelica returns. And quest complete. Note, as it's explaining here, there are indeed ranges of failure and success. Though, of course, in this particular case, we had no real control over the ultimate result. She was always going to succeed. It was your basic tutorial. But moving forward, we will generally want to shoot for the optimal results. Though there will also be many cases where that's simply not possible, or as it states here, we might get some sort of unexpected outcome, often triggered by specific character traits interacting with that particular quest. Angelica being an animal lover, for example, that will often trigger unique successes that no other knight could acquire. Though in some cases it can also be negative traits, basically guaranteeing failure. Clumsiness, arrogance, etc. This particular quest was very straightforward though, as spelled out by the final scoring breakdown. Anyway, let's go ahead and grab our rewards. 30 coins plus a follow-up. And 64 from tithes. Plus something calling us from the crypts. Let's have a look. Hello, Your Grace. Who's that? Who's there? It's only me, Your Grace, the very humble demon of this tower. The syrupy voice, seemingly emanating from the strange padlock, slips into your ears like a trickle of warm honey. What are you doing here, you foul creature? What do you want from me? I was locked away in this dark dungeon long ago, Your Grace. And like all the souls of this tower, I exist only to serve you, humbly. Uh-huh. Are you the voice in my head? Because I am noticing some immediate aesthetic similarities. Maybe yes, maybe no. Oh, okay, well, good. I guess that's reassuring, thanks. Look, I appreciate the offer, but I think I'm good. I'm gonna go. Oh, you understand very little, Your Grace. You tread in the dark, ready to fall into the abyss without even realizing it. Listen to my voice, and you will see that anything is possible for the one who holds the keys of destiny. Uh-huh. Okay, look, I'll bite. I don't really have much choice. How exactly can you help me? My power is that of renewal and reversal, Your Grace. As your endeavors grow, bonds form and shatter, nations grow or crumble. So too shall my powers wax and wane, fed by your exploits. When you call upon me, your mistakes will vanish like dew under the morning sun, and with no world-ending price attached, of course. I don't know, doesn't really feel like it worked out all that well for the last guy, but, okay, understood, sure. Don't forget me, your grace. Take this little lock and you shall have me at your beck and call. Soon you will find it impossible to get rid of me. He seems trustworthy. Oh, okay, well, never mind. All my suspicions are laid to rest. Thanks, me. And yes, that of course is the true nature of our ability to see the future, quote unquote. We can roll the clock back whenever we want, but in doing so, we are empowering this little guy. Which, you know, obviously not a great idea, but also largely unavoidable, at least your first time through. In theory, you could skip it, but then you have to live with some pretty rough consequences since it's very deliberately set up with hard failure points throughout. Ones that you can theoretically bypass, you know, simply power through, but which will also come with their own various assorted smaller tragedies. Ultimately, though, I will say, generally speaking, you're not discouraged from using it, because I don't believe you can actually get the best or most optimal results regardless until you're on at least your second or third playthrough. They use a rolling new game plus mode that allows you to literally carry over your experiences from the previous cycle, from the previous playthrough, into your next. So, you know, short term it's fine to experiment, see what works for you. I mean, it will probably cause you to suffer the same fate the previous guy did, but eventually things will work out. In theory, probably. Or will have always worked out, depending on how you view the cyclical nature of time. That said, into Cycle 2. Let's see how our second day on the job treats us. Arnold. Hey, Arnold. Hello. Allow my crystal clear voice to caress your delicate ears. I am Arnold, representative of Belthorn, noble region of the county of Groveshire, renowned for its exceptional hunters and its fine, exquisitely soft silks, sometimes even almost affordable. The Count of Groveshire has tasked me with meeting you as part of an idiomatic mission. Indeed. Oi, move, you silk rag! It's me you've been waiting for, Damien, the official emissary of Mavignac from the county of Gavolt. Oi, Gavolt. And I, too, have a message, but bigger and more urgent than theirs. Where was I? I have been asked to come to you to... Oh, shut up, kid! Your Grace, respectfully, you really shouldn't listen to those snobby Groveshire people. Those puny fools sell... Allow me to reply. It is not appropriate to give credence to these country bumpkins. And you dare to talk about gastronomy? And you claim to represent a civilized country when you haven't even bothered to mask your traveler's odor? Gentlemen, this really isn't necessary. I have time to speak with you both. There's a queue for a reason. That simply won't be possible. The only thing the two of us agree on is that the other one has to go. Unfortunately, I agree on this point. If you listen to anyone, it can only be me. And thus it begins. I mean, technically it already did. Choices we've previously made have already started a cascading ripple effect. This is just the first of major consequence. And you know, when you phrase it like that, I've really got to say I'm probably more a man of the people. Though long-term, ultimately, I won't lie, I'm probably going to go with Arnold. I just kind of prefer where that path takes us. Very well. I will inform the Count of Groveshire of your brilliant decision, and I wish your nostrils well. Thanks, Your Grace. He clears his throat loudly before continuing. Our Countess Mathilda has therefore requisitioned me to represent our country with dignity before proposing an alliance to you. An alliance at the cost of your help regarding the political situation in the county. Okay, I mean, would you care to elaborate perhaps? I could use a little more to go on. Mathilda will come and explain the situation to you in detail. As for me, I'll just say, Your Grace, good luck. You won't be idle. Well, that's certainly not ominous. Goberto. Sir Goberto of Neoned, Your Grace. The Herald said you needed help with some monsters? You're in luck! Slaying wild beasts is my specialty. Trolls, dragons, spiders, bloodthirsty chickens, you name it. If you do me the honor of... appears to be a tutorial in progress. I'll just wait quietly. Take your time, Your Liege. Learn about how to recruit or dismiss knights. And invite them back if need be. Oh, you're back. If you do me the honor of welcoming me at your court, my sword will be yours. Well, Goberto, I've got to say you're a bit one note with your massive strength and very little else, but sure, beggars can't be choosers. Would be nice to have a second knight. Inattentive. Oh, off to a good start. Prefers hunting, dueling, relic recovery. Does not like diplomacy, so kind of the anti-Angelica. Sir Goberto is eager to make a name for himself. However, he is the youngest son of the youngest brother to the Earl of Neoned, and faces stiff competition from his 12 siblings and 78 cousins. Oh, I'm sure he'll do great. And you know, even if he doesn't, it sounds like there's apparently like 90 more where he came from. One of them's bound to stick. Okay, welcome aboard, Goberto. Happy to have you. You will not regret this, Your Grace. I don't know about that. I'm sure I'll have plenty of regrets, but that's just life. Next. Hello, Your Grace. Did you have any crispy dreams? I'm sorry, what? I come with a matter of the highest importance. Nobody ever asked for my opinion. Never ever, so I decided to give it anyway. Hope it doesn't bother you. Are you listening? Yes? No? Maybe? Your ears, they look so absorbent. There's something that smells bad about the situation standing before you, both figuratively and literally. Oh, yeah. Almost overlooked the flies. I'm sorry, what exactly am I smelling? Ah, yes, that is exactly why I'm here. The smell, it follows me. It clings to me like a cursed fog. I believe it has become sentient. I mean, have you tried maybe bathing? Just spitballing here. There's a goose, but not your everyday goose. A general goose, a war goose. It's taken control of the public baths. It psht, it grr, and it's blocking the entrance. I haven't bathed in 15 days. Your Grace, the children cry. You must send help before this goose claims further territory. I will certainly look into it. Please leave. Which unlocks an optional quest, the Clean Keeper Goose. A furious goose has seized the baths. Send a knight to convince it to stop expanding its conquest. Requires low strength and low charisma. Damage risk 0 to 2, very minimal reward, but maybe worth our time. Certainly doesn't hurt, is what I say now. Oh, thank you, Your Grace. I'll go now. Slowly, sideways, so the goose doesn't see me. Okay, bye. Next. Hello, I'm Elliot of Clovermont, your brand new official messenger from Clovermont. I bring a request from Clovermont. Sorry, where did you say you're from? I didn't quite catch that. Clovermont... Dang it. I'm already boring you, aren't I, Your Grace? No, you're fine. But I promise this request, it's sure to interest you. The people of Clovermont begged me to present it to you with dignity, We lost it! The sacred relic! Jade, amethyst, well, a nice little rock. And it was a magpie that stole it. Okay, well, as loath as I am to separate a humble bird from its nest egg, I'll have someone look into it. Thanks for bringing this to my attention. Which again unlocks an optional quest, the Bloody Magpie. A magpie stole the sacred relic of Villador. It should be hidden high up in its nest, deep inside the woods. Get it back. Which requires low agility and wits, with a slightly higher damage risk, though it does promise a slightly greater reward, including our first mount. So yeah, obviously we'll do it. The bells shall ring in the village to their arrival. Thank you, Your Grace. No problem. And Karina. Your knights nailed it. My hammer was by the river near the old mill. So it wasn't really lost after all. Nevertheless, your round table shall be filling to the brim soon with knights. All we need now is a warm-hearted forge, and those rusty relics should be yours again, Your Grace. Nice. Well, let us forge ahead. Hello, my statuesque beauty. We now have a forge, which means we can now visit Karina to purchase basic relics, with additional ones being added over time based on our various decisions. Also, we have an event. Hello, Your Grace. Thanks again for this wonderful forge. I'm still setting things up, but I have a few relics to sell. Please, take a look. Why, thank you. I will indeed. Which, as aforementioned, now gives us access to a basic assortment of relics, which in turn can be equipped on your knights to modify their attributes. Obviously, some come with negatives, while others do not. I do prefer to focus on the ones that just provide bonuses, but it is important to note that if a quest doesn't call for a specific trait, it is safe to penalize it regardless. We'll start with something basic. Let's say the hunting bow here. That's +1 agility, +1 wits, and a passive bonus, which is a contextual modifier based on the type of quest. let's see our event. And don't forget to clean your armor after each quest. I know, you've been saying the same thing for 20 years. Though it really means a lot to me that you're still looking after Elliot and me, after all these years. You know, just because I chose a different path doesn't mean you stop being my little sister. Stop laughing like an idiot. And I'm really proud to see you living your dream now, to be honest. Aw, that's sweet. Though it does perhaps raise some slight concerns about nepotism, considering that it does mean our first knight, our blacksmith, and our contact with Clovermont are all directly related to our advisor. I'm sure that's fine. We also have Goberto. That's some fresh blood. Speaking of whom, let's knock out our next round of quests. The Clean Keeper Goose. Requires strength and charisma. Sounds like something that Goberto would be suited for, considering he's got 8 strength and 3 charisma. Whereas inversely, Angelica does feel like she's better suited for this one, which requires... I mean, she's not great with wits, but she does have 8 agility. However, looking beyond that, we also know that Goberto prefers hunting, dueling, and relic recovery, with the Bloody Magpie being a relic recovery quest. And although he's not great with wits and agility, we did just purchase the hunting bow. That gives him a fairly minimal baseline amount, but it should be sufficient, whilst also gaining us plus favor, since it's a quest type he likes. And then we can leverage Angelica's love for animals with the Clean Keeper Goose, which she should be able to deal with just based off of her raw attributes alone. That's the theory, anyway. Let's see how this turns out. Knights deployed. Uh-oh. And only one coming back. Goberto, you good out there, bud? Unexpected outcome. Lady Angelica got on very well with the goose, which helped her to understand its motivations better. The locals were delighted to see this dialogue develop. Nice. So, good that we trusted our intuition on that one. That got us a much more significant reward. He had previously only promised 5 coins. Oh, and unexpected outcome. Wait. Sir Goberto heroically climbed the ladder in hopes of retrieving the magpie's treasure before bravely missing the last step. And then he just straight up died. Okay, well, you know, that's unfortunate, though the fact it's a forced outcome implies it might be going somewhere. Can't say I'm crazy about having someone insta-killed right off the bat, but you know, we'll give it a chance to play out, and worst case scenario, we can always wind things back. Rest in peace, Goberto? Yeah, I guess that inattentive trait really came back to bite him, huh? On the bright side, didn't really give us much time to get attached. Though we do lose out on the mount, that's unfortunate. On we go. We'll see what happens. Cycle 3. The morning after a truly unfortunate night. Angelica? Oh, hello. Forgive me, I'm a bit somewhere else. Her reddened eyes stare at you sadly. Angelica, are you How you holding up? I can't believe for a friend to just be gone like that. They're really... Your Grace, does it truly not affect you at all? I'm not blaming you, but this life wasn't what I was expecting. I fear that if such things continue to repeat themselves... Yeah, it's rough. I mean, we barely knew him, but it is unfortunate that things turned out this way. Not the first week I think any of us really imagined. I'm sorry. She leaves without saying a word. Oh, that does make me feel bad. Obviously really pushing us to use that power, but we'll hold off for now. We've got time. Mathilda. Greetings, Mathilda of Fort Gavalt, Emeritus Countess of the County of Gavalt. The woman standing before you towers over like a mountain. She is as straight as a stake. A very, very intimidating stake. I ask for your indulgence in us cutting straight to the point. We are hoping for your assistance regarding the diplomatic diatribes that are currently tearing our land apart. Sorry, do you always bring a lion on your diplomatic endeavors? Only during official meetings where I wish to dominate the conversation without question. Mission success. He once devoured a counselor who was too curious for their own good. Gulp. Hang in there, Arlen. I gotcha. Okay, so back on task. Could you give me more details about the poor counselor who got devoured? No, about why you're here. Let me explain the situation as simply as possible. She pauses to choose her words carefully before continuing. A wind of dissent is currently sweeping through the people of Gavalt, fueled by the recent and brutal assassination of the Baron of Mavignac. The mourning that has befallen our citizens has sparked a flame of rebellion in their hearts. And this rebellion now threatens not only my person, but also the authority I represent. Everything suggests that one person in particular is fueling this revolt and orchestrating this widespread chaos from the shadows. Any questions? Yeah, lots. You say your people are in mourning for the Baron of Mavignac? This nobleman was loved. He was a fair politician who was close to the people, whom some would quietly describe as a demagogue. Her voice, until now as smooth and cutting as a blade, shows here a glimpse of sadness. But, in reality, he was touching. He knew how to talk to people the way you would talk to injured animals. You really seem affected by this. And you're worried that you're next? Why? Allow me to correct you. I am not afflicted. There's no need for such analysis. But some whisper that the murderer is one of the knights in my employ. As for the nobleman who was murdered, he opposed our reforms and charters, as well as my approach to orderly governance. You don't need anything else to see the connection. Right, so are you trying to assuage the grievances of the people, or are you just trying to shut down their protest? That's an awful fine line. Understand that the people's complaints are futile. Neither I nor any other member of my caste ordered this assassination. I am also concerned by this loss, even though it was common knowledge that I had strong disagreements with the Baron of Mavignac. So you say, but how can I be sure you're telling me the truth? No offense intended, but you can understand how this might look to someone from the outside. I wouldn't mind a little reassurance. She rolls her eyes. Think. I ask you to investigate the leader of this revolt. Convincing the people of their representative's innocence will be all the easier once the ringleader of this movement has been stopped. The one who organizes, who sets the powder alight. Without a leader, the revolt will scatter like the same powder blown by the wind. I therefore need knights of integrity, untainted by any bias, to uncover this person's identity and arrest them. Which gives us some options, 3 slight permutations on an otherwise fairly straightforward quest. Yeah. The first 2 each favoring the people or nobility, but the third being a fairly neutral one, albeit with slightly higher risk. Which is tempting, but, you know, given the options are right here. I think we'll start with the nobility. See if there's any truth to the rumors that one of your knights might be scheming behind your back. Do as you see fit, as long as you find the evidence that exonerates me. Sure. Well, we'll see what we find. I'll let you know. I'll see you very soon. Yeah, I don't see that ending well. Alwena. Sir Arlen, your grace. My greetings. Ah, greetings, Alwena. We haven't been introduced yet, your grace. Alwena, recruited into your service by Sir Arlen a few days ago. I shall be taking care of administration, the little paperwork, and the major inconveniences. My role is essential to the proper management of this tower. And yet you didn't even think to give me a room for my belongings, Arlen. I kindly request, your grace, that you promptly make the necessary arrangements for my accommodation. In return, I might have a juicy bit of gossip or two about your knights. Thank you. I imagine we could dust off a small room in exchange for her services, your grace. That is, of course, our spy master. Gwendon. I've heard you're in need of great heroes, so here I am. Sir Gwendon of Villador, the best knight in all the land. Yes, I know it's a lot to take in. It's okay if you want to applause or to faint. I'm used to it. I have to say, I'm also used to higher standards than this smelly shack you call a tower. But it will have to do. Do not worry, with me at your round table, your little realm will very soon shine in glory. Well, you know, I can't say I'm crazy about your attitude, but on the other hand, we can't really afford to turn you down. What with poor Goberto and all. 8 charisma, not bad. I mean, he's definitely got a better spread overall. Not quite the raw might Goberto brought to the table, but more charming, quote unquote, and also more viable in other areas as well. Let's have a closer look. Arrogant and Noble Soul. Score modification based on the impact on nobility satisfaction, so kind of the opposite of Angelica. Unknown preference. Does not like relic recovery. Sir Gwendon of Villador was born in nobility. His parents always told him he had an extraordinary destiny, and that he could achieve anything in life. This has led him to become a knight for, shall we say, questionable reasons. Potentially problematic, but, you know, useful, short-term at least. Sure, why not? Welcome aboard, Gwendon. Please don't make me regret it. I expected no less. I'm already lighting this place up. Uh-huh. Regrets? I've had a few. Next. Oi, oi, your grace. Rowan, at your service. I'm a sailor down in Grest. Gonna be your go-between with the folks there. Alright, formality's done, yeah? I'll skip the bowing. Any chance you folks might spruce up the road to Grest? You know, the one that leads up here? Ain't that far, just 3 hours. But it'd sure help us ordinary folk. Of course, yes. Yeah, we can afford that. 90 gold for 3 rep. Honestly, not a bad trade-off. Also, important to invest in local infrastructure. Aye, yeah? Reckon we're good at what we do, even if you really ain't seen it for yourself. Thanks. Anyway. Bye. Oh, this guy. Your Grace! I come not with thanks, but with grief. Your knight uncovered that the goose was merely protecting her eggs. And for this, people rewarded her. She now wears a little hat. The locals have declared her a hero. The children feed her grapes. Grapes, your grace. Guards? Okay, look, Chester, I don't see how this is a problem. I feel like we could really just call this a wash. Wake up, your grace. Do you not see the pattern emerging? She is a feathered manipulator. Her eggs, they give off a strangely appetizing aroma. Every equine beast in the village is utterly charmed by that scent. The truth is elsewhere, your grace. She already has her first followers. Today she controls Milkford, and tomorrow it will be the world. Alright, look. Maybe we'll give it a gander. The Cleankeeper Goose, Part 2. The strange resident of Milkford continues to accuse the village icon goose of being a danger to the inhabitants. Send a knight to get to the bottom of this. Requires wits, luck, relatively high damage risk. minimal reward. But if it gets you out of my hair... Yeah, we'll have a look. Honk. I don't like you. Berta. Hello, Your Grace. I am the sister of Sir Goberto of Neoned, Your Grace, and... Her voice catches on a sob. We did indeed learn of his tragic death last night. He was a pleasant and diligent knight. He talks as if he had to jump from rock to cross a stream. You'll honor his memory, won't you? He was one of Almor's greatest warriors. Yes, of course. Of course we shall. Celebrate him with all the dignity that his talent demanded. He now seems to be crossing that same torrent on his tiptoes, with burning stones to boot. Isn't that right, Your Grace? Yes, of course. By all means. Goberto shall be deeply missed. It's difficult to imagine how we'll get by without him. The young girl disappears in a flood of tears. Oh, yeah, that's rough. Bit of a tonal whiplash there between that and the previous guy, but they are really kind of pushing us towards using those powers, which again, we probably will. I just want to peer a bit further into the future first. It is worth noting that the further into the future we go, the more we get to carry back with us. Let's go ahead and get our new Spymaster set up. Thank you, my love. And let's go pay Arwen a visit. At the Intendancy. Hello, Your Grace. Perhaps you wish to hear some gossip? I would. Though you don't have any just yet, you have to go investigate first. So let's do that. We'll assign her a target, and then next cycle she'll have something new for us. She'll also occasionally have things to say about the various quests and events that we find ourselves faced with, but her primary mechanical purpose is to uncover the concealed traits on the various knights we encounter, thus making it easier for us to assign them appropriate quests. Speaking of which, let's go ahead and get that done. We've got 2 quests on tap, 2 knights at our table, and yeah, I mean, I'd say it's pretty straightforward here. Gwendon is definitely well suited for the investigation. Attitude aside, he is our current charisma main. Though, in actually looking at the numbers, Angelica's actually not that far behind, because she's our luck main. Yeah, they actually both come to the same total, so in theory, either one could work. The only one who wouldn't would be poor Goberto, who would have totaled a whopping 3. But since we know that Angelica's also good with animals, we'll have her handle the goose. So she will take care of the second stage of the goose investigation, hopefully trigger another special result. Which, even without, she would still be able to handle pretty nicely with 7 luck. Oh, but she does also have a level up, so let's go ahead and tack that on as well. We'll bump up her wits. That'll help a bit, and make her slightly more versatile for future quests. I don't think there's a hard limit on how high any single attribute can go, but I do believe there is a point of diminishing returns. I cannot, however, state that with authority. Someone else would have to check me on that. We will, however, toss her the bow. That'll bump her up to a net total of 11. And Gwendon will go in as is. That's 12 points on Gwendon for his quest, and 11 for Angelica. Should be enough to get both done by a comfortable margin. And yeah, Gwendon shouldn't have any objections. Nothing we're seeing here implies he's non-compatible with this particular quest. Let's get it done. Sorry, just being slightly overly cautious after what happened to poor Goberto. Which, again, I will stress, was the results of a special event, not a normal quest resolution. So I am curious to see where that goes. Welcome back. How'd we do? Nice, solid success. After your investigation, everything suggests that the leader of the revolt is none other than the Countess's own daughter. It is believed that she is hiding with her fellow rebels in Mavignac. Good to know. We'll file that away for the future, which nets us +1 people rep, a follow-up audience, and food, our first consumable. As the name implies, that's a one-time bonus, +1 strength for a single quest. Obviously not a game changer, but still nice to have. And Angelica, how'd we do? Oh, okay, no special event this time, just conventional resolution. With another solid success. Your knight went to see the goose, but didn't notice anything unusual. Sir Chester, disappointed in your incompetence, sadly left Milkford. Oh, darn. Do we still get paid? We do. We're rich. Come on back. I will say, there are other ways we could have potentially resolved that, but I'm fine with that result. Gwendon? Stop bothering me, peasants. You're wasting my time. Now, let us dance, feast, and... Gwendon, did you need something, or... Oh, it's, you, Your Grace. This isn't what you think. I was just wondering what the view was like here. Turns out it's not that great, if you ask me. Is that so? And I suppose you have some suggestions on how I might improve that? I was wondering when you would finally think to ask for my opinion. I have plenty to suggest. First, this hall is terribly dull. You should have jesters, musicians, jugglers, and poets at your court. Otherwise, how can you expect anyone to take you seriously? Back when Villador was at the height of its prosperity, we would frequently host banquets and valiant tournaments day in and day out. Here, there's nothing. I'm bored. Well, you know what, Gwendon? You certainly make some good points. I will take it under advisement. I should certainly hope so. New attribute discovered. Competition. Okay, so Gwendon only likes quests that involve competition. Not sure that'll come up super often, but good to know, I suppose. I have lots of other ideas if you need my advice again. No, that's fine. I'm still working on that first batch. I get out of my chair before I have you thrown out. And wing by the forge real quick. Gotta make sure we keep our knights topped off. Lest they join poor Goberto. Oh, right, rumor. What have you got for me, Arwen? Ah, your grace. Do have a cup of tea. A little bird has shared a most interesting anecdote with me. New attribute discovered. Fear of the dark. You know what? That does explain the armor. Okay, so Gwendon likes competition but does not like dark. And we know from his previously revealed traits he also doesn't like relic recovery. Let's go ahead and send Arwen back out. We do still have at least one thing we need to find out about Angelica. Three things, actually. And then same with Gwendon, still a ways to go with both. Which, I will stress, is stuff that will be carried back with us if and when we go back in time. That plus our ruler stat growth. Anything non-material, basically. But we will lose our relics, we'll lose our reputation gains, etc. Alright, let's see what the day brings. Cycle 4. I, the Dragon Knight, dost extend mine salutations unto thee. Is there any soul amidst this gathering endowed with the power to parley with me? You are in the presence of the Sovereign. Am I? Thou art but a mere child in these realms. How mightest thou lay claim to this exalted throne, and not I? I, who have been crowned by the ancient vintage limited edition true king himself, hath traversed the domain of Britannia decade by decade, and leveled cities in my wake. So doth I challenge thee, stranger. Prove unto me that thou art the sovereign this dominion doth require, that thou canst gather valiant knights, lead thy folk to peace and prosperity, and stand resolute against the Angalor Empire. Shouldest thou falter or refuse my challenge, I shall take thy life with mine own hand. Okay, you know, I'm not a huge fan of ultimatums, but, sure, why not? I shall inspire the people to rally to my side. We were already kind of headed in that direction anyway. You accept without hesitation? Oh, sorry. Appears there's a tutorial in progress. Well, I'll be right here when you're done. And this, of course, is our main goal for Act 1. A recurring pattern that we'll see throughout the subsequent acts. I will stress, though, although we have actual target numbers there, if we miss some or all of them, we can still theoretically succeed. It just makes it tougher. We get extra points during the final confrontation for each one of those goals that we've successfully met. But there are other ways to succeed, even if they're statistically less likely. Oh, you're back. You accept without hesitation, stranger. These realms doth merit a sovereign of great might. Until we meet anon, thou hadst best be prepared. Okay. Thanks for stopping by. I had heard legends about this Dragon Knight, but I thought him long dead. Let us prepare for battle. I've noted the objectives in terms of resources and support that need to be achieved. Bear in mind that these are not essential to our success. Right, like I said. And back to business as usual. Mathilda. My daughter. Yeah, so it would seem. Actually, I must admit that I suspected she was involved. Oh, and you didn't think that that was something worth bringing to our attention? Could have potentially narrowed our search? It's not so simple. We hadn't really been in touch for a while. Of course, I had noticed her recent, strange attire. And naturally, I had spotted some suspicious political pamphlets in her room, but I could never have imagined. You couldn't have known. Young people have their own codes, their own slang. In the blink of an eye, the gap widens. She is so impressionable. I ask you not to hold it against her. A discussion with her is obviously necessary, but before that, I'm going to need your help again. We now know that she and her group of rebels are hiding near the Bastille of Mavignac, preparing to lay siege to the Fort Gavalt very soon. You must stop them. Now. Unfortunately, some of my best knights were swept up in this popular movement and decided to side with the protesters. I don't know, Mathilda. I've got to say, this is getting messier by the moment. This really isn't what I was... I mean, I got into this to help people. Are you sure there's not a better way we could maybe be approaching their grievances? If there must be a reordering of power, I can entertain the idea. But not in this manner. No stable society can be founded on violence and strife. My daughter, you have seen her. She has no political strategy. She is driven only by the desire to put our family in danger. I mean, I don't think I have actually seen her, but okay. I guess technically, by extension, via our research, in an abstract sense. Though it is worth noting, in the demo you could actually physically meet her prior to your second meeting with Mathilda, which would give you a chance to potentially side with her instead. Which they do seem to have removed in the launch build, or at least shuffled. Possibly if we outright refuse to get involved beyond this point. Or it might just require outright time travel, going back with the knowledge of who she is ahead of time. There are a number of plot points that have special interactions like that. Events that can only be fully circumvented or preemptively resolved via information acquired from a prospective future timeline. That, of course, I think is how you're supposed to ultimately, eventually achieve the perfect end. You must stop her. Okay, I mean, I'll give it a shot, but I've got to say I'm not crazy about how this is playing out. Defense of the Siege of Gavalt. Note that this one is our first with an actual hard deadline. We only have 2 cycles to get it resolved. The Countess of Gavalt requests your assistance in protecting her fort from attack by the group of rebels led by her daughter. Requires moderate strength and low wits and charisma. High damage risk 2 to 4, enough to kill any of our knights if they go in wounded. Oh, and also 2 night slots, so our first job that requires more than 1 knight. Though we could theoretically just send 1, they just would almost certainly fail. Alright, we'll see what we can do, but we are going to have to talk about making some changes once it's done. You doddering old fool. You notice the barely visible trembling of her jaw as it tightens. It looks painful. Alright, we can reconsider things, once the spark has been extinguished. A dark figure approaches, disregarding all queuing conventions, and sneaks up in front of you. Good day, Your Grace. A pleasure to meet you. Uh-huh. I am Tarkus de Gavalt, brother of the late Count de Gavalt. Of course, you came in with the Countess, did you not? Why hang back until now? Oh, I didn't mean to interrupt your little tete-a-tete, and I think our own discussion deserves privacy. Isn't it fascinating, learning that the little fool serving as Bathilda's runt stands at the helm of this charade? I confess I suspected as much. Stupidity walks often with ambition. I am the eyes and ears of Gavalt. No one pisses in a gutter there without me knowing about it. Do you see where I'm going with this? Watching that idiot eye the throne is an affront to Gavalt itself. Be pragmatic, Your Grace. Ally with me, and I will crush this rebellion as it warrants. Your Grace, if I may, Sir Tarkus distinguished himself rather grimly during the bloody Tarascus War. He is a man of perfectly measured. Do you have something to say, old man? Would you rather let these enemies of the crown pour out their Epicrashian propaganda? Okay, well, we now have the option to recruit Tarkus here, filling one of our very precious slots at the round table with a man who, is admittedly fairly competent, at least in areas of wit, moderate strength, luck, but also might have some predilections we're not necessarily crazy about. Oh yeah, look at that. So very much sided with the nobles. He has both the nobility primes and nobles defender traits, as well as a preference for assassination and hunting, though oddly, despite liking hunting, he is not a fan of the woods, which I guess makes sense if he's only hunting the most dangerous game. Sir Tarkus, the brother of the former Count of Gavalt, has a rather unique view of morality. He was a formidable warrior during the Tarascus War, which tore Gavalt apart, and it's fair to say that he will stop at nothing to secure victory. Okay, so I think we can all agree that this is definitely the guy who murdered the Baron of Mavignac, right? But you know what, I'd say this timeline's pretty much doomed anyway, so what the heck. Welcome aboard, Tarkus. I'm sure this'll go great. And I'll take the utmost care of this trust, Your Grace. Ha 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 ha. Thanks, reassuring. Cutner Nomad. Your Grace, we beg for your mercy. We're a humble community of wanderers, no harm meant. We look for shelter for just a few days. A bitter cold is closing in, and our little ones are already shivering. We cannot sleep in the woods. Not like this. All right, buddy, take it down a notch, jeez. With all due respect, opening the tower's doors to these people, that would be a tremendous act of trust. They are strangers with none to vouch for their integrity. What do you wish to do, Your Grace? I mean, look, Arlen, I hear where you're coming from, but it couldn't possibly be worse than the guy we literally just let in. And, you know, if we're going to find out if they're trustworthy, what better way to do it than in a timeline that's already doomed? By all means, we'll clear some space for you. Please, stay as long as you need. We'll shake on it. Thank you, Your Grace. Hey, nice. We are now kind. Which we will carry with us when we wind back the clock. That'll unlock special interactions and options in future events, or past events, you know, once we roll back. All right, go get yourself taken care of, man. And if you're going to betray me, maybe try to do it in, like, say, the next cycle or two. Sorry, the children will never forget this. They will, but it's fine. Everyone will. Next. Oh, Gwendo, what's up? No, wait, you're not my knight. So, here you are. You, the famous sovereign. Charming. She looks at you with an air of superiority. I'm Gwendolyn, Baroness of Villadargent, a great... Oh, what am I saying? The greatest locality of Villador. A pearl obscured by the lands, but one that is absolutely vital to your reign. I shall be conveying to you the many complaints from the common people of this land. Most importantly, I'm your knight's dear aunt. Yes, Gwendu, my darling little Gwendu. So happy I am to hear that you have recognized his brilliance. But where is this little duckling? Oh, you know, he's around. So was there something I could actually help you with, or... No, not really. I just came to see how he was doing. If your knights do find themselves listless at your little round table, then they could always come weed my garden. It is in a similarly pitiful state. You know what? I might actually have just the guy for it. I think I can help you out with that. Bucolic diplomacy. The charming emissary of Villador needs help maintaining her charming little garden. Send a knight who isn't afraid to get his hands dirty. Well, I don't know about that latter part, but I do have a knight who can probably take care of it. And his stats do roughly match up. High charisma, moderate strength. Yeah, consider it done. If nothing else, it'll certainly make an impression. And really, honestly, we should all try to spend more time with our family, lest we turn out like Mathilda and her estranged daughter at each other's throats. Gwendolyn lets out a little laugh. You sense that you may be allowing yourself to be led around like a docile steed. Thank you, my dear. Tulahan. Greetings, Sovereign. I am Dullahan, a knight, a human one. Uh-huh, you sure are. Totally organic. I possess lungs and a spinal column. I want to be yours. All right, buddy, I'm flattered, but I'm already spoken for. I'm sorry, do I know you from somewhere? Because I've got to say, that helmet looks a mite bit familiar. Slightly different shape, but I guess a fall from a tree might do that. Oh, yes, the helmet. It was forged in Almor, where I come from. Uh-huh. And you say that you're all organic, with lungs and a spine and such. You 100% certain on that? Because you don't sound super certain. I am perfectly normal. To prove my humanity, I have successfully identified all the carts containing hay. That is what a human made of meat would do. Well, you know, you've certainly got me there. All right, very well. You sure you're all right, though? Because it does seem like your voice is... There's something maybe a little off about it. You need a lozenge, or... It is asthma, a very popular human accessory. Okay. Alright, well, you know, I guess that allays all my suspicions. You seem perfectly normal, and I've got to say, you know, while I do miss Goberto, that's not a bad spread. That is definitely slightly more rounded. I mean, you lost out on the charisma, but still. Oof. Clumsy. Yep, that would certainly make you death-prone. Though, inversely, intangible would also defend against it. And I noticed that you're inattentive? Okay, that's probably a coincidence. You have a preference for things related to ghosts, sure. That's entirely innocuous and not at all related to the late Goberto, because he was very alive. Why would he be a ghost? You don't like diplomacy. Sir Dullahan seems to be a perfectly normal knight who curiously appeared right after the death of the late Sir Goberto. He seems perfectly normal. Alright, well, I'm convinced. You know, I did have some suspicions, but how can I argue with that? He does seem very normal, with lungs and a spine and even free asthma, a very popular accessory. Alright, Dullahan, welcome aboard, I guess. I'm sure you'll fit right in with the assassin and the narcissist. I am starting to feel kind of bad for Angelica, though. But at least she's got Sovereign to keep her company. Sovereign the cat, not Sovereign the me. I mean, I'm here too, but the cat's better. Alright, buddy, you're in. Welcome aboard. Just, you know, don't make yourself too comfortable. This timeline grows more doomed by the second. Though it is interesting to see the different ways that things can play out. You know, that's kind of the whole point of the game. If we had knee-jerked, for example, right after Goberto had passed, and immediately reset time, we would not have run into this guy instead. You know, as I said, when he died, it was very clearly a choreographed event as opposed to an actual normal quest resolution, which, you know, was kind of a clue that it was actually leading somewhere as opposed to just an outright failure. The question now being whether you'd want to roll with Dullahan here, as opposed to a less life-impaired Goberto. Ah, yes. Whoopee, as they say. Indeed. Your Grace, so, someone left these letters on top of the pigeon coop. One of them has feathers stuck to it. Pretty sure that's not standard. Anyway, nap o'clock. Thank you. The courier drops off randomized quests each day, which supplement the ones you get from other, more story-driven events. That said, I do feel like this is a good place to call it. We're 4 cycles in, we've gotten, I think, entirely through the tutorial. We've made some choices, we've seen some consequences, we've recruited our first few knights, at least one of which, who seems to be kind of my vibe. Jury's still out on the other 3. But yeah, while the choice and consequence does seem like it's pretty simple now, this is just early Act 1. You know, it continuously branches from here out through Act 2 and 3. And then you also have the extra added layer allowed by the time travel mechanic, which in turn introduces new special interactions that are only possible when your character already has foreknowledge of various things that haven't actually happened. Something we haven't dabbled with today, but I am honestly likely to do at least one more episode just so we can see it, also because I really love this game. That said, we'll hit the pause button for now. I would love to hear what you think. Let me know in the comments down below. And hey, let me know if you might like to see more of this one in the future. Although, as aforementioned, I'm probably going to do another episode or 2 anyway. But I would love to make it into a short-run series if people are actually willing to watch. So, let me know. And I guess I'll see you then. Oh, and special thanks to the Raiders, the fine folks who help make these videos possible, including but not limited to RobbyB23, Revenant, Alois, Arrow Bowman, Dragon Matrix 7, Drakiith, EgonAlter, Exsellsior, Gottlieb, James Trimmier, Lady Shayna, Mark Giemza, RandomPassrby, RobbyB, Rowan Church, Triphoppenskip, and Valinrook. Thanks for your support, guys. That said, if you'd also like to help support the channel, then feel free to push the buttons that do the things. Trust me, it does make a difference. Or you could even check out the PayPal, the Patreon, the Nexus GG, or the YouTube memberships. Links are in the description.